My next guest makes her professional MMA debut coming up here at LFA 7 on March 24th. Brandy Narvaez joins me here on the program for the very first time. Brandy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Hey.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, especially away from training and all that. And if the last name sounds familiar, you are married to former UFC middleweight Roger Narvaez. And I got to ask, how did you guys meet?
We actually met a mutual friend because he's a firefighter also. And his friend and my son, they went to school together. And so they introduced us. And so it was not because of fighting. Everybody's like, oh, y'all meet at fighting? No, it was never fighting. We actually met before the whole fighting thing started, and then I gradually got into it. He was already fighting though.
Okay, gotcha. No, fair enough. What's up with him? I know he's only fought the one time since the UFC release. Is he still planning on competing, or am I just being really impatient?
He just fought. He fought again about, he's going to kill me, 2 months ago maybe?
Okay, gotcha.
And he won. He fought for Fury.
Okay.
It's an up-and-coming organization as well, and he fought in San Antonio for them, and he's actually fighting again in May 13th here in Corpus, actually, for a title, a 185 title.
Nice.
So for Fury again.
And how's that dynamic? I mean, you're training for your pro fight. I mean, he has his career and stuff. Is it a good balance? Is it night? Like, do you think you could, be with someone that's not a fighter, getting ready for a fight like this?
I think we've talked about that before, like me not fighting or him not fighting and but we do. It's crazy how we make it work. We have such a great support system too. Like we have kids, so our friends are helping us out with the kids. I still work full time also. And so we make it work. So I'm in camp. I've got a fight coming up. He doesn't, of course he still trains. He always trains. He's a crazy trainer. Oh my gosh. But he does. He trains. And then, but when I'm in camp, he's fully dedicated to me. And then, so my fight will be over. And he's at the beginning of his camp, so we make it work. We kind of, just because of, signing with Legacy, and it's like, okay, it's the bigger leagues now, so he's making time to let me train, and then, he trains. We make it work. It's crazy, but it works.
Now, I found it kind of interesting. I was looking up your backstory a little bit here, and I saw that you got into martial arts, actually jiu-jitsu, because you wanted to lose baby weight. You just had a child and everything like that, and then you sort of made that progression to mixed martial arts. How quickly was it, you going from jiu-jitsu to full-on mixed martial arts?
Well, I boxed when I was younger.
Okay.
As a teenager, I boxed, and then getting into high school, freshman, I was varsity in a lot of the sports, and so I didn't have time for boxing anymore, so I gave that up to do high school sports, and then so then I met him, I had a baby, and he was like, just try it, and then I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and the fact that I'm still able to compete, and I say this, I'm 32 years old, and finding a sport that I'm able to compete at, it was like, oh wow, there is life after high school. You can still do sports, and so that was awesome. And then graduating into MMA, he was like, didn't you box before? And I started training one of the boxers at our gym, and he's like, hey dude, she hits hard. And he asked, and I said, yeah, why not? I got to try it once. And it was just supposed to be a one-time thing, and I ended up loving that even more than jiu-jitsu. So I was like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I can take a punch. I'm good.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. You made your amateur debut in 2014. Here we are in 2017 making your pro debut. Did this feel like it took forever, or was this the right amount of time you felt to, make your pro debut?
I actually, I think, Rod, we weren't in any hurry. It was, I think a lot of people put a lot of pressure in fighting, and I wasn't in any hurry, just because I simply just do this because I just love to do it. I mean, you don't see many 32-year-old moms out there being able to do, to fight in a cage. Like, who does that, And so there wasn't any rush on it. And my last fight was a heck of a fight. I think that's when the true test came out that, oh, you know what, she can fight. It's more than, she wants to do more with it. And we talked to my coaches, and everybody was on board about me going pro. So, and then it was hard getting fights. Like, I'm not saying as an amateur, but it was hard for me to get a fight, and some pretty good opportunities opened up.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because of your last name, or do you just think in general, it's people don't want to fight you? What's sort of the reason for that, do you feel?
And it personally too, I think as a female, a lot of girls I think they're afraid of that loss. You don't really want to take that risk. You always want the safe bet. And, we talked about it, and, we always say, take a smart fight. And I tell him, I told my coaches, I'm like, look, guys, I'm 32 years old. Like, there's no safe fight. Let's just fight. I don't really care about winning or losing. I probably got 2-3 more years left for this. So I'm in it to fight. And that's all I want to do is fight. So for a lot of girls, I think I don't want to say they're scared, because you're stepping in the cage, so you're never scared. But it's hard to have that first loss. It is hard to take that first loss. So I don't even know why girls wouldn't fight me, but I know after this probably they're gonna be like, I'll fight her. So
There you go. You mentioned working full time. What do you do for work outside the cage?
I do therapy work. I work for a chiropractor.
Oh,
so
cool.
I do a lot of therapy stuff. And that's really all I do.
Well, I mean, that must be handy because if you get hurt or anything like that, you kind of know the ins and outs.
I think I tell my boss, I'm like, I think this is my like secret weapon, because I walk into the office and they're like, okay, what's hurting you today? What needs to be adjusted today? So, I jammed, I don't know how many fingers or, in my knee and ankles, and they're like, let's get you worked on, So my boss is probably the coolest boss you ever meet. He like supports this 100%. And so, like I said, I'll walk in and he's like, all right, let's get you worked on, So, they support it. It's awesome. And I always say it's the advantage I have over a lot of my opponents.
So we talked about the fact that you're making your pro debut here. It's one thing to make your pro debut, but to make your pro debut for LFA, I mean, this is a huge deal. LFA sending more fighters to the UFC than pretty much anyone. How excited were you when this all sort of came to fruition?
Well, I don't even know. I think I can say it. Well, I had actually originally signed with Combate,
Okay.
Combate America, because I'm fluent in Spanish. And so I signed with them back in December, and they couldn't get me a fight. They said I wouldn't fight till the summer. And I'm like, man, that's a long time to wait. It would have been a year and a half that I hadn't fought. And so, we talked to them. We talked to, my management, and they were like, okay, we'll release you. It's not that big a deal. And so we, messaged Legacy, and I was like, why not? It's a huge step, though. Huge opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even mention your opponent's name. Itzel Escoval, taking her on, a fellow Spanish fighter as well. How excited are you about this matchup, and how do you feel like you match up against her?
I'm excited about it. I think a lot of people are, what do you think of her? What do you think of her? And honestly, I don't look up any of my opponents. I let my coaches handle that. They tell me what to do. As far as the training goes, I always say they should be looking me up. I don't need to be looking up anybody. I don't want to sound cocky, so but I think the matchup it's going to be awesome. My previous opponent, Cynthia, I think she fought. They fight pretty exactly the same. So I'm excited. Like I said, it's no matter which way it goes, it's just going to be an exciting fight. They talk about her fights, and they're like, no, she likes to do this, she likes to do this, and I know she likes to kick, so that's very much, yeah. So we've been practicing head kicks, no head kicks. I always say, as long as I don't get knocked out on national TV, I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. You got to kind of live by that motto, right? Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to blow your mind for a second here. So I talked to Zell earlier tonight, and she says that you guys actually had a jiu-jitsu match against each other and that you wouldn't remember. Do you remember this at all?
I have no idea. Oh my gosh. My husband is going to be like, I told you. He told me, he goes, babe, I know it. I know you all had a jiu-jitsu tournament. I'm like, well, did I win? And he was like, I don't know, but I know you fought her before. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember anybody's name. I'm just horrible. Like I said, I do this just because I genuinely just love to do it, not to, boast or remember anybody, but he's going to laugh. Now I'm going to have to go back and look at videos because I have no idea.
Okay,
but did
cool.
I win? Did I win or did she win?
I think she said you won. So, I mean, that's the good thing, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, no, that's a bad thing. Now she's going to come back for vengeance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. You talked about your husband. As far as training camp goes, who are some of the people that are helping you get ready for this fight?
Gosh, man. So there's a lot. Like, I mean, it's crazy. The support that I have is just, it's ridiculous. So I train out of Weapons at Hand, out of ISBJJ. So of course, Roger, he helps out a lot. Rudy Valenzuela is my head kickboxing coach. And then, at Pressa, I have Aurelio. So that's kind of my jiu-jitsu also. But I have guys from all over Corpus, from all over the gym, like all gyms in Corpus are coming over here to help me train. And it's amazing. So, but I'm even like Elias Garcia, he fought for Legacy. Patrick Ivada, he's fought for Legacy. So it's just like, there's just so many people that have come to help me out. And I'm just so appreciative of it all.
And how's the weight cut going? I know this fight's a couple weeks away, but I imagine that process has already started.
honestly, that is probably the biggest challenge. It's, it's never the fight, the training and the fight. That the fight's the easiest part. The training, of course, is hard, but for me, the weight cut is the hardest part. But this is the strictest I've ever been, just because I know I can't miss weight. I heard from a bird, and it could just be the coaches, making sure that I do make weight. But they said, the dad was adamant on, if it goes over if it's 116.1, we ain't fighting her. So I knew that I have to make 116. So with that in mind, like I said, I've been super strict with this diet, and I'm still a ways away, but we have pretty good nutritionists, here with us that have been helping me out also. So like I said, it's another level now. So, we're doing whatever it takes to get to that, to the ultimate level.
Yeah, that's interesting they made that stipulation, because I actually, talking to her earlier, she doesn't cut much weight at all. Actually, she's only about 4 pounds over right now is what she told me. So that might be one of the reasons why.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what you think about that, because I mean, you might have an advantage there if you're able to get down to the weight. You might be a lot bigger than her, and that might play an advantage.
Well, just because of my size, I am considered a pretty big girl. And a lot of people, when I tell them how much I weigh, they're like, "Can you get down that much?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I said, we got it down to pretty good science." And when I step in the cage, I go back to my regular weight. So I am considered the bigger fighter. But it's not easy either. It does take a toll on you. And as a female, it takes a toll. We don't cut the way men do. As far as come off the way men weight comes off for the men. But wow, 4 pounds. Must be nice. So she's probably eating Whataburger tonight.
Yeah. Fair enough. What's your prediction? How do you see this fight ending on March 24th?
I don't like to predict. I don't like to predict. I've never predicted any of my fights. I just know, like I said, it's going to be a very fun, entertaining fight. But if I had to say, I would probably say it's going to go to decision.
Okay, interesting. I like the honesty. Mackenzie Dern, is that a name that you'd like to fight, sooner rather than later? If she doesn't go to the UFC, is that something you're looking at?
Well, before Itzel took the fight, I was supposed to be fighting Fatima, and whenever I feel like I've been in the longest camp of my life, by the way. So it was never to train for Fatima or the next trainer. It's to train to beat Mackenzie, because she's the it girl right now. They're building her up. The UFC, I'm sure they want her, and I know the weight cut's an issue for her. But ultimately, I would love that fight. I really would. I would love the fight. I don't think right away, and my husband would say, "You're crazy. You shouldn't even be saying that right now." But I'm like, hey, I only live once. Like I said, I'm 32. You only live once. If I can take that fight, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? She submits me. That's the worst, by the way. But I think I would absolutely love that fight.
I'm going to ask you the easiest question in this interview. Do you watch Netflix at all?
I watch a lot of Netflix.
So if I log into your account, Brandy, and I look under continue watching, what is it going to say?
Oh, okay. Well, it depends which profile you pick.
Okay, so if I'm in
say.
Roger's profile, what's it going to say? And if I log into yours, what's it going to say?
So mine says Mama Bear.
Okay. Fair enough. How original. There you go.
And right now I'm watching Rain. And then together we're watching how to commit a murder, or how to.
Oh, Making a Murder?
Making a Murder. Yeah.
Oh, what do you think of that? It's kind of interesting.
We're only on the second episode. That first one was so boring, but we're on the second episode right now, and hopefully we'll get to watch it tonight. But by the time we're done training, we're so exhausted. But Rain, I'm such a lovey-dovey girl kind of movie. I love anything. I guess not realistic. Vampire Diaries was one of my favorites. I know.
No, listen, you're literally like naming off the exact same shows that my wife watches on Netflix. So trust me, I've heard it all. So that's fine.
Okay, awesome.
So there you go. Awesome. Well, LFA 7, it's coming up here March 24th, live on Access TV. Brandy, can't thank you enough for joining me here on the program. Where can people find you on social media? If you got any thank yous or shout outs or sponsors or anything like that, the floor is yours. I want you to get paid here.
Oh, thank you. Well, first off, thank you to you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to have this interview. It's so awesome. I was laughing inside because I'm like, oh, I got an interview. Like, it's exciting. This is huge. So thank you. I really do appreciate it for you taking the time out of your day. I would like to thank my husband. I love you with all my heart. He's been there. He's just an amazing support system. My 2 kids, and then again, Cynthia, they think their mom is crazy, and they absolutely love watching me. Rudy and Aurelio, my other 2 coaches, all the guys here, Aaron, Patrick, Peter. I can name all you guys. I know there's a lot of you out there. So my shirts, it's camo. I'm doing the camo thing, and the reason behind it is because I say I have an army behind me. From my teammates, my coaches, to my sponsors, DeFirma, Ricardo, Sick Gear. Thank you. Montez Electric out in Alice, Texas, my hometown, small little town. Oh gosh, Lumen Wireless. Oh my goodness, I wish I would have wrote it down. Armadillo Sport Chiropractic, where I work. Thank you guys, y'all too. Y'all are amazing. Taking the time. I mean, I go and train. I miss a lot of work for training, so them too, they're amazing. Renee. Oh gosh. Oh, he's gonna get so mad. I forgot the name of his company. Renee Guajardo, thank you. Platinum Wraps and Signs as well. Okay, I said DeFirma, Montez Electric, Lumens. Oh gosh, Dynamic Drilling Fluids as well. Cindy Ferguson, Jason Ferguson, I love you guys. Thank you also. And I think I know I'm missing somebody. G Fuel with my Iridium Sports Agency. They got me a sponsorship too. G Fuel, thank you guys also out there. And I believe that should be everybody.